What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee and Tim Hunter. You're back again.
Yes, back again.
Because you know what? It's going to be an amazing time tonight. We're actually having this mayoral debate watch party at my coffee shop, Coffee Uplifts People. And this is just to get people to watch the debates because we're getting ready for voting. Early voting starts October 25th and ends November 2nd. And Election Day is November 4th. That's your last time that you can possibly vote.
Yes, that's correct.
In this election. All right. There's so many things that we need to talk about. And I got my NYC Votes voter guide.
Let's see. We got the voter guide right here.
This comes to my house. It lets me know where I'm voting also.
Yes, it does.
It is important to know where are you heading to for your ballot. You can also vote by mail. This says October 25th is a deadline to request your mail ballot online.
Yep, you can request it online. You just got to make sure it's postmarked by Election Day.
When are you voting, Tim? Are you voting
I vote
early?
I vote on the first day. However, if you wait till October 31st, you might be able to get a nice little Halloween sticker if you vote early on Halloween this year.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Yeah, there we go.
And listen, speaking of getting things, anybody who comes to watch the debate, New York Magazine is also going to be having fun with us tonight too, and they're going to give away I think like a 3-month subscription to people who come to Cup. Some of them. Yeah, some people are going to end up getting those. So that's exciting.
Well, it's good. We love New York Mag, and thank you so much to them for partnering. But we also, are thankful that you're letting us, use your coffee shop for civic engagement. It's going to be a fun night.
All right, so let's talk about what is on the ballot because I always tell people make sure that if you don't have this amazing voter guide that I have, you can still go online and get it, right?
Yes, the voter guide is available online at nycvotes.org, and it's available in 13 languages other than English.
I got 3 of them. I got Spanish, I got Chinese sent to my house.
Yeah.
I think because my last name's Yee, they just sent the Chinese one.
Yeah, it's good. We look at the voter rolls, and we also look at the demographic makeup of your area. So depending on where you live, like if you're in South Brooklyn, maybe there's a large Mandarin-speaking population or a large Spanish-speaking population. So we try to tailor it, and it's on both sides. So if you are like, hey, I don't speak this language, you flip it over, I'm pretty sure you'll speak the one on the other side. But we're just doing everything we can to eliminate the barriers, especially language barriers to our democracy, because we believe that your vote is your voice. And we want New Yorkers to be able to have a say in this very consequential general election.
Well, Mr. Tim Hunter, first, let's talk about steps that you have to take. First and foremost, make sure you're registered to vote.
Yes.
Now, let's say you're not registered. Did we miss that deadline?
No, we did not.
Okay.
You have till Saturday, October 25th, which is the first day of early voting. So if you're not registered yet, and if you're watching this, thank you for watching, but make sure you get registered to vote. Very, very important to be registered before you vote in the upcoming election.
And we can also check and see and make sure that we're still registered, right?
Yeah, if you go to vote.nyc, you can check the Board of Elections website. You can check your registration. We did miss the address change deadline, so if you have not changed your address as of yet, you might have to go back to the place where you were previously registered to vote in this election.
All right, so you have to be at least 18 years old.
Yep.
You have to be a U.S. citizen, and you have to be at your poll site by closing time. These are the rules when it comes to going to vote in person.
Yes, and they say, if you're in line, stay in line, right? So if you get there at the, right before polls close, the dates for early voting may differ on each day. So you can check your voter guide or look online to see the dates that early voting will be happening in your neighborhood or at your poll site. And if you're in line before the polls close, you have a right to stay in line until you have your chance to vote.
All right, get information. You heard it.
Yes.
Now, there's a practice ballot here as well.
Yes, we
So
love to see
I
it.
always find this to be particularly helpful because when I go in, I'm zoop, zoop, zoop in and out because I already did my practice ballot online. So you can see specifically for wherever you live, right, who is going to be the candidates that you're voting for.
Yeah, and you can cut it out, right? You can cut it out. You can write it in who you're going to vote for. Our voter guides have become very interactive over the years. And don't forget, there is no ranked choice voting in this election, right? So you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you're heading to the polls. And you can also bring your voter guide with you to the polls. Yeah,
I need to walk in there with that.
Yeah, you just can't bring in any information that's supporting a candidate, or you can't wear a T-shirt that's supporting a candidate because that's electioneering. You can only bring nonpartisan information, and poll workers know what a voter guide looks like, and it's a nice color this year. So you can bring that with you to the poll site just to make sure that you're taking your time and making sure that you're making sure your vote counts as well.
Now, besides the mayor, because we're going to be watching these mayoral debates,
Yes.
this is the last debates, by the way, and I want to say the one before this was intense.
It was intense. I
It
mean,
was
all these
intense.
debates have been intense.
It's been intense.
Some would say spicy. It was spicy.
So this one that we're going to be watching tonight, right?
Yeah.
Who is going to be on that debate stage?
So we'll have three of the leading. This is called the leading contenders debate. So we usually always have two debates. We have one with all the candidates, and then we have another one with the leading contenders. And to qualify as a leading contender, you either have to be polling at 5% or higher, or you have to have raised a certain amount of money in matching funds and matchable contributions, $250,000, or have spent over $2 million on the election. So the three candidates that we're going to be seeing for mayor are going to be Curtis Lewa, Zoran Mamdani, and Andrew Cuomo. Those are the three leading contenders in the race for mayor. So that's who we'll be seeing on our TVs tonight.
And that's why donations matter, as people are asking about donating. If you like a candidate, it does matter. If you can, even if it's a few dollars, right? That could be the difference that gets them to be on that stage as a leading contender, because the finances do matter, when it comes to politics also.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would also add that, especially here in New York City, we have an amazing matching funds program that amplifies your contributions at the tune of 8-1. So if you gave $10 to a candidate that's in our matching funds program, it turns into 10 plus the 80 in the match, which makes it $90. So it turns into a $90 contribution.
So is this what Eric Adams was saying? He was having an issue because of the matching funds? I'm just asking, Yeah,
so I mean, there are certain candidates that kind of like apply for matching funds and try to get it, and there's a number of reasons why we don't pay candidates matching funds. It could be due to requests for documentation, it could be due to compliance issues, and it could be due to not meeting that threshold, because you have to meet a 2-part threshold in order to get matching funds. You have to raise a certain amount, and you have to get a certain amount of contributors in New York City if you're running for mayor. So we put all this on our website at nyccfb.info. A lot of people have probably seen this in the news, about denial of public funds. But there is a number of reasons why we don't pay candidates public funds.
Now, who are we going to see when you go to the polls? Who is going to be on that ballot for mayor? Because I was just asking you about this. I was surprised that it wasn't. I just know these three candidates that we're watching the debate for tonight. But who is going to be on that ballot for mayor?
Even though we are only going to have three candidates on the debate stage tonight, it's important to note that a lot of candidates have, or two candidates specifically, have announced that they are dropping out of the race. Eric Adams and Jim Walden. Those two candidates are third-party candidates. They have their own ballot line, so they petitioned to get on the ballot in the general election. They didn't run in the primary to get on the ballot through the Democratic or the Republican nomination. They ran as independent candidates. However, they missed a key deadline that was necessary for them to remove their name off the ballot. So because they dropped out after that deadline, those candidates will still appear on the ballot. And if you want, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. You can vote for those candidates if you want.
Still can.
Your votes will still count towards those candidates. And if one of them wins, they would still become
Has
the
that
mayor.
ever happened?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
Crazy. Like, I wasn't even running still.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what happens. We have key dates and deadlines, and if you don't adhere to those deadlines, it can confuse some people. But these candidates will still appear on your ballot. They're not actively running, but they will still be there when you head in to go vote.
I've heard people say that you can also write somebody in. Is that true?
Yes, you can write in. There's in almost every election that we have, you're able to write in candidates. I think the only place where you're not allowed to write in candidates are for the presidential primaries. I could be mistaken with that. We'll double check and get back to you on that. But that's where we kind of had like a lot of people last presidential election going with the leave it blank or the like uncommitted voters during the last presidential primary when people wanted to make a statement about other events that were happening in the world.
So you can go and leave things blank.
Yes, you can leave it blank. You can write someone in.
But why would you?
Yeah, I think it's important to make your voice
why would
heard,
you leave it
right?
blank?
And we say every time we come in here, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, right? So if this is your opportunity to vote, we know elections can be determined by just a handful of votes. This is shaping up to be a very contentious race, especially between the three leading candidates that are currently running. So don't leave it blank. I would recommend you vote, but obviously it's your ballot. We're not here to tell you what to do. We just want to make sure that you get out there and you get your ballot scanned and you make your voice heard.
As many times as Curtis Lewa has run, I feel like this has been the most motion. I just want to say, but I feel like we've heard that, a lot more than in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that's why our debates are important, right? It gives all the candidates a spotlight to be able to let New Yorkers know what their policies are, what their platforms are, what it is that's allowed them to get to this point where they're running to represent what I think is the greatest city in the world. And I think that, every New Yorker that cares about our city just as much as we do tunes into this debate tonight.
You could tell who wasn't good at the dozens when you watch these debates at snapping on each other.
Hey, listen.
Because some of them, I'm like, Zeus, like, speak up, say something.
It's true. It's true.
All right, public advocate is also on the ballot.
Yes. We have a number of other citywide races on the ballot. The public advocate, the comptroller. Depending on your borough, you might have a contentious borough
Brooklyn
president
does.
race. Yep,
yeah.
There we go. So, I think, and it's important to realize.
And city council.
The city council is also on the ballot. And these ballot proposals, which I'm sure we'll get to a little bit later. It's important to know that this general election, whoever wins this, that's it.
Right.
They will be in that role. They'll get sworn in January, and they will be the decision makers for your community. So if you didn't get a chance to vote in the June primary, don't sit this one out. This is your last opportunity to make your voice heard. Get out there, be like me, vote early, or mail your ballot in if you would prefer. And you can find all this information on nycvotes.org.
Yeah, for some reason, I got a meeting up here for me on the 4th, so I'm going to have to vote early because I don't want to take a chance.
Exactly, yeah, there it is.
On Election Day. All right, now, the ballot proposals that you just mentioned, because there's also, 6 ballot proposals?
There are 6 ballot proposals, yes.
Okay, so just, break that down, because what I love about this guide right here is that I didn't even know about the ballot proposals, but now I've read them through to understand what they mean, because sometimes you go in there and you have no idea what a ballot proposal is about, and then you go in and you vote for or against it, and then you leave and you're like, oh damn, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, it's true. I think that's why the voter guide is so important, and again, this is all available online. So just to break down what's in the voter guide specifically, so we have the language of these ballot proposals, and we also have plain language summaries beneath them for and against these ballot proposals. Now we had a few weeks where we accepted testimony, and people submitted testimony from different organizations, elected officials, voicing their support or opposition to these ballot proposals. And there's also been some mailers that have been going out, that have people already raising money to encourage New Yorkers to vote against these or to vote for them. I'll try to be as even keeled here on both of them as possible.
Because a lot of it feels like it's housing related.
Yes. So some of them are housing related. A lot of them have to deal with the fast tracking of affordable housing here in New York City. Some people that are opposing those ballot proposals are saying that it would take too much power away from the community, because what these proposals, or one of them would do, is to kind of create a commission of mayoral appointees to fast track certain affordable housing.
So it wouldn't go through city council. They would be able to just fast track that and skip over that step.
Yeah, so the way that the traditional process goes is that, you go through the community board, they have a say, then the borough president has a say, and then the city council member that represents that area has the final yes or no vote, which can sometimes allow for a member to completely kill a project if they feel like it's not beneficial to their community or if it's not something that they want in their neighborhood. But this would kind of allow for this commission to kind of handle all of that. So some people are upset that this will take a lot of the power out of the community. However, other people that are advocating for it say that we're in a housing crisis and we need to build affordable housing faster. So I recommend that all New Yorkers, don't just go in and vote for mayor and leave.
Right. Make sure these ballot proposals are on here as well.
Exactly. There was also some other ballot proposals there. One that has to deal with the map, updating a map. The first ballot proposal as well has to deal with kind of the clearing of forest preserve land upstate New York. That's a statewide ballot proposal, so that's the reason why we have to vote on it here. And then the other 5 are related specifically to New York City, even year elections, housing proposals, some stuff with upzoning certain neighborhoods, and also the updating of the city map as well.
Right, because I see one of these is to move local elections to presidential election years. That's one of the things. So yes would mean that would be the same year as federal elections, and a no would mean city elections will be held in odd-numbered years on a different election cycle. These are just all things for people to keep in mind as they're going in, but what it is, and do a little deeper research so you know what you're voting for. That's the power in knowing what you're doing. Nothing feels better than going in prepared and confident in the choices that you're making.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we want to make sure people are prepared to vote, especially for this upcoming upcoming election. There are so many things that are going to be decided by the New Yorkers that will show up to the polls and vote. So don't be in that group that's like complaining at the end of it that you didn't get your voice heard, that things didn't turn out the way you wanted when you didn't show up to vote in the election.
And I want to say, don't be ashamed if you feel like you're not equipped and you don't know what's going on. You still have time. That's why these debates are important. You know, we'll be watching the debates at Coffee Uplifts People tonight as a family. But it is an opportunity for you to see firsthand what's going on. So when you go in, even if you haven't been keeping up, you've been quote unquote busy, you know, but it's no shame in that. It's never too late for you. Well, it can be too late. But tonight is your last chance to actually watch this. And I'm sure it's going to run again, you know, before you go in to vote. But just make sure that you're seeing what's coming out of these people's mouths. Remember these things too, because, you know, whoever ends up becoming mayor, our job isn't done just after we vote. It's also holding people accountable to the promises that they make.
Yeah, Angela, I couldn't agree more. And if you feel like you can't make it to watch it tonight, you know, you can look on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube if you go to nycvotes.org. This will be fully streamed online. So no matter where you are, as long as you have some internet, you should be able to access it. And there might be a live audience. Oh, there's going to be a live audience at this debate, so you might hear some oohs and ahs. I think it'll
we
be...
love a ooh and ah.
Exactly. It'll be great.
You know, and I do want to also stress, like I said, you're hearing straight from people's mouths what they're going to say, because there's a lot of ads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of social media posts and things like that that can confuse you.
Yes.
And so what you need to do is be able to separate what somebody's really saying and what their ideas are, aside from propaganda. So hearing it straight from the horse's mouth.
Exactly. I feel like, you know, New Yorkers, you know, we have very strong opinions. And I think that a lot of people may try to take advantage of that with some of the political advertisements that you might see. This is a nonpartisan debate, so it is hosted by us, NYC Votes.
Right.
We never tell you who to vote for. We never tell you who to support. The people that are going to be asking questions are reporters that are very accomplished in New York, have covered New York City politics for a while. So the questions are going to cut pretty deep, and you're going to hear a lot of conversations around education, housing, the plans that people have to deal with public safety. These are all issues that are very important to everyday New Yorkers, small businesses, such as small business owners like yourself. These are issues that matter to a lot of New Yorkers, and it's up to us to make sure that we tune in and we make the decision that we deem is the right one this November.
And we watched the primary debates before as a family, and that was really fun.
It was.
So I already know it's going to be super spicy tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And the
we
food
were
was
all
great.
in there like, ooh, and the drinks.
Yeah, and the drinks were great too.
You know, and I think New York Magazine's bringing some branded cookies, and you could potentially maybe win a 3-month membership.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
For New York Magazine. Well, again, Tim, thank you so much. I feel like you always bring so much knowledge and information. So anybody listening right now, hopefully you feel a little bit more like, okay, I feel good about, you know, going to the polls and getting this done. Again, early voting is starting on the 25th.
Yep.
So you have that opportunity. That's over on November 2nd, but you still have a chance until October 25th to register if you haven't.
Yep.
So do that as soon as possible, or check on that. And Election Day is November 4th. That will be your last opportunity.
Last time to vote. And, you know, I want to say thank you to you, Angela, and the iHeart team and the Coffee Uplifts People team for, you know, doing everything that you can in your power to make sure New Yorkers are aware of the rights that they have. Because a lot of people sometimes say, I'm not going to vote because nothing matters. This doesn't matter. But it does matter, especially when it comes to these local elections, because that's when we usually have the least amount of turnout. So hopefully we can change that this year.
If he says he's not voting, don't date him, girl.
That's true.
My advice.
That's true. That's true.
That's a red flag.
Yep.
But yes, and the debates start at 7 p.m.
Yep, they start at 7 to 9. It's going to be like 2 hours. So, you know, buckle in, grab your popcorn, or if you're at Cup, you know, grab a drink and grab, you know, some snacks and, you know, or maybe one of those New York Magazine cookies and, you know, enjoy.
Let's have fun.